Good afternoon, dear students. My name is Ivan Scheffers, and I'm responsible for the teaching of visual arts. The purpose of this presentation is to prepare you for the upcoming examinations in May. The presentation is available on the portal, and if there is anything that you want to ask me, if there's anything that needs more clarity, you can either consult your manual directly, or you are free to write me an email. I prefer emails because I'm not always available to speak to you, because I also have a full-time job from 8 to 5. And if you write me an email, I can take my time to answer you. What is of significance in this course is that the DPPE students, this course is phasing out the DPPE, pre-primary, and but you are writing the same examination as the DJPE and the BSP. And I always have a problem that if you give me examples of specific visual arts concepts, that you must remember the age of your children. If I ask you to explain something to or give examples, please consider the age. You cannot, if I'm asking for a specific demonstration or example of an arts activity, you cannot expect children to work with paraffin and spiritus and flammable things that is a threat to their safety. So please just be mindful of that. At the end of the presentation, I will give you my contact details, and if there's anything that, like I've already alluded, if there's anything you want more clarity, you are free to contact me by email. We start with the first study area, which is definitely part of every examination, because this is not just book knowledge. This is what's happening in the classroom in the lower primary, especially primary, grade 1, grade 2, grade 4, grade 5, up to grade 6. So you can take note of this question. It asks, what is the thematic approach? You must be able to give a definition. You must be able to demonstrate how the approach is applied in the school. And then you must also be able to give visual arts activities for each of the themes. The thematic approach is an approach that was embraced by the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture some years ago. A very comprehensive research was done into this, and all the signs are there that it is really working. So, like the word is self-explanatory, thematic refers to a theme. So, you are using a theme, or the contents of your teaching and learning is based on a theme, is derived from a theme. So, that already is what you can use as your definition. You are using a central theme to teach all the competencies that the children must be able to master. Now, in the primary phase, the Ministry of Education has already selected the themes for you. We normally have 9 themes that stretch over the 3 trimesters, and then you can decide, you'll complete 3 and then again 3 and then again 3 following the trimester. And the themes that was already selected is myself, my body, my family, my home, my school, my community, animals, water, plants. And that you will find on page 12 of your study guide. So now you have mentioned the themes. Now they are asking, demonstrate how the theme teaching is applied. You know the themes, and you've divided them into the trimesters. So if I am just using one example, my body, let's say my body, you will spend at least 3 weeks on this theme. Now in the school curriculum, we have the mathematics, we have the language, we have the moral studies, religious and moral studies, We have the physical education, we have writing, we have visual arts, of course, and we have environment. So those are what we call the curriculum. Those are the study areas that you find in the primary school phase. Now your theme is my body. If I'm speaking of application, the thematic approach, I am using this one theme over 3 weeks of teaching. So when I'm teaching mathematics, the theme body must feature in it. For example, I can use body parts for counting, I can use body parts for subtraction, and all mathematical concepts. I can demonstrate to my children in primary school, I have 5 fingers, I take away 2, how many remain? 3 remain. So that is how my body concept can come into the mathematics. If I go to the visual arts, is where I can say, today we will be doing printing, and we can just use our hands for the printing. We dip the hand in the paint, and then we dip it on the paper, and then we make a pattern of printing. So I have used a body part. If it comes to religious and moral education, we can see the Bible teaches us the body is Christ, it's the temple of God. So we can bring in that concept in body. And then for visual art, yes, so body must, the body concept must filter through all the subjects. And when you are doing your planning as a teacher, this is normally the way, that is the framework that you use to think and to bring in the theme. So all the subjects are now combined by this theme, and that is why they are calling it a theme. And then they are asking, explain visual arts activity for each theme. This is very important because many of you are confusing the word art with other parts of art. Remember, we have visual art, which is painting and drawing and sculpturing and things like that. And then you have the music. The music is also arts, but it's not visual arts, it's another discipline of art. So if I say, what activities can you do under the theme My Body? You cannot just bring in the dog and musical groups, because visual art is totally something else. So if I say, what activity can you do under the theme My Body? Then it was exactly the way I've explained to you. You can, for this week, you can do printing and you use a body part. If I say, our theme for this week is myself, is where you can say under visual art, the activity can be, you can draw yourself using a pencil, or there is an outline of a person and you say, this is myself, and you can nicely color it. So for each of the themes, you must be able to demonstrate what art activity can be done under that. If I say art activity, it can be you are painting something, you are drawing something, you are using crayon to color something. You can even say you are using cardboard to make a three-dimensional structure of something. You built a house, you see, you built the school, and things like so. Those are visual art activities. Please don't confuse it with other art disciplines. The theory of color. Under color, you must understand that we have 3 basic color groups. We have the primary colors, which is red, yellow, and blue. You cannot change them. They are primary. But if you start to mix some of these colors, is when you start getting other colors. If you mix 2 primary colors, then we get what we call secondary colors. And examples of secondary colors is orange, green, and purple. And when you mix 3 of them is where you get tertiary colors. So the groups that we are referring to as primary, secondary, and tertiary. And you must be able to give example of those. You find all the examples on page 33 in your study guide. Then we are saying color has temperature. It means when I look at a painting and there is, what color can I use best to bring out temperature that is now created by a artwork on, or a painting on fire. The best colors that I can use is red, combinations of red and maybe a little bit of orange, and then you can really see that heat is glowing from this painting or from this picture. That is where the concept comes that color has temperature, is where we use red and orange as warm colors. And then if we look at the ocean, we will not use red and yellow, we will use colors like blue and all combinations of blue, lighter and darker. That is why we say blue is a cooler color. We can look at the forest with different tints of green, light green, middle green and deep green and all sorts of green, and then it gives this feeling of coolness. So if you are asked the question, how can you explain the concept that color has temperature? This is the way I expect you to do it. And then U is the quality that separates one color from another color. So if you look at a painting and then you see two different colors used in the same painting, it is where the two colors meet that we call this is the U. So, and then tone value is the degree or lightness or darkness. You know, in one color, for example, red, you get a very dark red, and then you get a lighter red, and then it gets still lighter and lighter, but they are still all red. This is what we call the tone value. So in these last three questions, the last three points that is mentioned, color as temperature, U, and tone value is where I'm explaining you, asking you, please explain the following terms of the following concepts, and this is the way that you will do it. Symbolic, emotional meanings of color, I've already alluded to that, but we still can continue. If we look at Valentine's Day promotional material, you will see the heart is also always painted in red, because red brings that connotation to love, and that is what is meant by what symbolism, what emotions can be drawn from the color red. And then the same with pink. Pink is normally associated with caring, and yellow is associated with happiness. Sometimes you see in this children's book they are painting a lovely yellow moon, and then they paint a smile in the sun's face. Is to bring that color of that feeling, that connotation, that association with happiness. And then blue is normally when they draw the ocean or a dam, and to bring that tranquility and peace out, they will use different tones of blue. And green is always used in nature, the green leaves, the green of the trees, and this is always associated with the environment. So if I give you a list, 2 columns, then one side we have red, pink, yellow, or other colors, not always these ones that I've written here, but also others. And then I put the feelings and the associations on the other side of the column. Then I say, please connect which one is fitting with which one. Then you must be able to do that. What sources are we using for color? What things are we doing to color when we are in the arts rooms? There are different sources for color. We have the oil-based crayons, we have the color pens, we have the chalk that we use on the writing board, which is also in different colors, and then we have inks, and there are maybe also many other things, even domestic things, that you can use to color some of your things. And then tools for painting. What are we using in the arts, in the visual arts room, to paint, to create? We can use, in the smaller children, we can use our hands, we can use our fingers, we can use sticks, and we can use sponges. All those are tools that we can apply color in the visual art classroom. And this one we have already also alluded to. And in arts, we have specific areas, also called disciplines for arts. There are 5 of them. The first one is the visual art. It refers to the drawings, to the paintings, to the sculptures, to the collages, and everything that has to do with creating. And then we have music. Music is about singing. It's about playing with instruments. If you say singing, then that is fine. And dance is free movements. So if we say dance, we get different types of dance. We get the jazz, we get the ballet, we get classical, and so on. But if we speak about dance in the primary school, we are normally referring to you are singing a song and the children just make these gestures of movements just to bring some fun into what you are teaching them. And then we have drama. Drama can be the dramatizations that we find in the theater, but drama can also be role play. If I say, let us just show each other how we are greeting, we take hands, that is a sort of role play. Or when we are singing something, we make also some gestures that goes along with the movements and with the words, then that is also a sort of a role play. And then the last one is the appreciating the arts. Arts appreciation is when you will show a beautiful painting to the children, and some of them will say, no, it's very beautiful, while others, no, I don't like it. So if they can already decide they like it or they don't like it, that is one form of arts appreciating. They are either liking the colors, or they like what was painted, or the things that they are seeing, they are not in their life experiences, they don't understand it. Some of them have never seen the ocean before, so you will not be able to appreciate pictures of the ocean. So if you can say something is beautiful, it must be based on something. Either you like that specific color. Those are all things that components of arts appreciation. Creative thinking, what is in your view, what is your understanding of creative thinking? I'm asking you, explain it in your own words. So creative thinking is when you are creating something that didn't exist before. You are seeing something in your head and then you put it on paper. If I say, can all of you use the crayons in front of you and then you draw a flower, then you will not see two people's flowers looking the same, because what springs to the head are all different, because every person in the class is his own level of creative levels. So if they see it in their heads and they are able to put it on paper, then they are creative. Then there was this one research that was done by Dakovska, and this person came up with what inspires creativity, what contributes to people to become creative. So, and she explained it, she found, a study revealed that if you show children a picture of a dog, and then you say, okay, children, now you must draw this beautiful dog that I have here. And they look at the picture and they draw and they look and then they draw. And then I'm asking the question, was that creativity? No, it wasn't. Because these children, they didn't see the pictures in their head. They have shown it already created by somebody else. So this is the differences that we can draw. You can make it your intellectual property when you have seen it in your head and put it onto paper, but not drawing that was already created. So that is the difference that I want to see, what I want to read in the examination when I ask you, what was Dakovska's theory of creativity? Then we have another concept there, hand-eye coordination. Hand-eye coordination, you must be able to define it, and you must be able to give examples for it. So if I can turn to this paper here so that you can understand it better. If I hold the pencil or the pen or the crayon or the Koki pen like this, I have a grip on it. And if I say, now can you make us the A pattern. So if the learners, you teach them to do it like this, you see the hand, you see the fingers, and you see the way they are holding the pen. This is all has to do with coordination. We are try to develop the fine muscles in the hand, and when you put the pen on the paper, you want to put it at a specific place, so the eye must look where you are putting it. And when there was a line, it is when you put your pen on the line, A. So what you are doing now, you coordinating the hand and the eye. The hand is following, the eye is following what the hand is doing. And this is what we call eye-hand coordination. And this is something that needs comprehensive exercising in younger children, because this is the forerunner for writing. You are wondering, why are the grade 1 teachers spending so much time on teaching the children on these patterns, or even when the teacher is giving the pre-primary or the grade 1 learner a page with many figures, geometrical figures in it, and now she is expecting the children to color it, because if you color it, you must make sure that it doesn't go over the line, and that all has to do with eye-hand coordination. What you are doing, you must coordinate your fingers, you must coordinate the hand, and the eye must follow what you are doing. So don't just reproduce the words that you are seeing in your textbook if this question is in the examination. You must be able to understand and to conceptualize and be able to explain it to me in your own words. Hand-eye coordination, you can read more about it on pages 13 and 15. Sorry. The next one is a question that is very challenging according to the student answers when I'm marking in the examination. There are specific things that we want to achieve through the teaching of arts. We call them the goals. Why are we doing it in the primary school? Why are we doing it in the school? Why are children learning about arts? Why is it important? What is the significance? So I have a few bullet points there, and they are written like that in the textbook, in the study guide. But the challenge comes when you must explain it and when you must give examples of how you can accomplish it. And that is what the students find very difficult. So maybe you can listen and try to understand it yourself. The first goal that was written, they develop a positive attitude and love for arts. What is meant by that? It means that you must instill in the children a love of arts, a love to create, a love to draw, a love to go to the gallery, a love to go and watch plays and dance and creative things in the theater. So if the child is 7 years old, how do you accomplish that? So it is where, what activities can you do? It's where you can maybe in your storytelling themes, when you know that the young children, they like listening to stories, to tell a story about an artist that was struggling, but he had a beautiful skill of drawing, and one day this and this happened, and the prince and the princess were so interested, and then this artist became very, very rich. So this is how you can use, in a subtle way, try to in the children a love for the arts. Take the children to the theater. Show them beautiful artwork. Bring the artwork into the classroom. Play video stories and do artistic things in the classroom, things that children will like. And this is how you slowly creating and instilling a love for the arts in them. And it's I cannot understand why is it difficult that you cannot give examples. Those are the very straightforward and simple examples that you can use to explain that point. Learn concepts such as line, color, and shape. The children will not understand the theory of line and color and shape. You must have activities. So it is where you are bringing the arts, the paintings and the drawings, you are bringing it into the classroom and you ask them, what color is this? Who can show me the red? Who can show me the blue? And where do you see vertical line? Where do you see horizontal line? Who can see a line? So this is how you bringing the arts to life in the classroom. And this is not to say a line look like this, but put the line in the context of art, then they will understand it. Cultivate an attitude of discovery is where you can say, bring things from the house. Let us bring everybody tomorrow 5 stones and 2 sticks. Is where they go home and they ask their parents, Mom, my teacher said tomorrow we must bring this and this and this. So they collect things on their own. And this is also a form of instilling inquiry in children, where they must go and look for things. They must ask their parents, and then they bring it to the classroom, so they discover things themselves. We talked earlier of the mixing of colors. If you put the 3 primary colors and let them mix and ask, what color did you get when you mix those 2? This is how they discover things. And this is the way I want the students to explain it to me. Appreciate tradition and cultural heritage. We know that in Namibia, we have many cultures. We have a very diverse society, people coming from diverse cultural backgrounds. And we, as the arts teacher, must try to instill in the children a sense of tolerance, so that we, although we have our differences, different types of upbringing and dressing and small things that we always sometimes don't understand, it is you as a teacher to bring it into the classroom. Is where we say tomorrow, I want all of us, or let us say in 2 weeks, we will have a cultural day and everybody comes dressed in his cultural dress or anything cultural, and then you must explain it. Or if you don't do that, or you don't have, the children don't have that, is to bring the pictures to the classroom, where, which can very clearly distinguish the cultural differences and show the children, and let them also talk about it, ask them questions, and let them bring pictures and let them come and explain it. So it is just now to show that we are different, but we are all in the same time, we are all the same. We are still humans. We are still Namibians. We are still in the same school. We are still sitting next to each other. And that is the sort of attitude that we as the arts teachers must try to develop, especially in younger children. And that is the activities. This question is about activities. What activities can you think about to instill this goal? How to accomplish? How do you arrive at this goal? To be able to articulate the activities. Discover and develop creative abilities through the use of several materials. That is very straightforward. You must not only do drawing with crayons every day in the classroom. No, you must try to experiment with different media. Today you are using paint. Next week we are using clay, where we are making animals, and where we are making, this is mother and this is father with the clay. We can experiment with collage. We can say we are building the cardboard houses and then we paint them. So this is how you are exploring with different media. And then those are also the things that make children to love the arts and eventually can translate into what we say, develop a positive attitude for arts, because they come to love it. The stages of development for drawing, if I ask you, or let me give the example. We have a 5-year child in the classroom, and we have maybe a 10-year-old child, and I say draw a picture. Will the pictures look the same? Let us say draw a flower. Will the flower look the same? No, because the one that is older has more life experiences, had more exposure to different types of flowers, has a very well developed fine muscle system. He can handle the crayon and the paint and the brush better. So his pictures or his paintings or his creations will look better than the one that is younger. And this is the question here. You must be able to demonstrate the developmental stages. Through which developments does drawing in young children go up till to a certain age? So the question is, you should name the different stages, you should put the ages, and you should also be able to demonstrate the different ages. Now that is there on the screen, the younger children 2 to 4 years, it is what they call this age the scribbling stage. The young child take the pencil. You know, the mothers get always annoyed when they find this on the, just this there at the wall. The child got hold of a pencil or a pen, and this is the stage that we call scribbling. And then later, the scribbling, when they get a little bit older, maybe with 1 year or 2 years, this scribbling becomes more schematic, not fully schematic, but little bit schematic, where you can at least see this is a person that is not totally schematic, but you can see it has developed from scribbling to this. And then the child gets another 2 years older. We call this stage the schematic stage. So at least he can draw a house. This is the outlines. A scheme is an outline. So this is an outline of a scheme, and that's why they call the schematic. But then little bit older, 9 to 13 years, they are saying, this scheme develops into where you at least can see this is a house, and this is the door, and this is the window. So this is more realistic. You can at least see now that this is a house. And then to the decision stage, 13, 16 is where they will be able to put, to make it more dimensional, give it more dimensions, put a shadow effect, put the correct colors, and then you can really see this is really a piece of artwork. So in this question, I expect you to be able to write the different stages. You must be able to write the ages in brackets, and you will go to the examination with a pencil where you will be able to draw. Please take note, you must draw. So when you prepare for examination, take your paper and your pencil. Look in your manual, pages 23 and 23, 24, 25, and you will find those different stages drawn there. You must be able to replicate it. You must be able, I'm reading now, you must be able to distinguish the progress. You must see how the previous one is different. So don't just, it is not a painting that you are doing. It's a question that you are answering where you try to explain to me the development, how it developed from younger children to older children. Illustrate each stage with a pencil drawing, and then I've written there, find the drawings on page 23. The styles of art. There are different styles of art. There are many styles of art. You can read all of them on page 43. People that are trained in the arts for many years, people that are artists themselves, will look at the artwork and say, that is a Rembrandt. Or if I look at that art, and then they can clearly see the characteristics of specific artists in some of the artworks. So this is the significance of style. Each artist has his own style. So first of all, you must be able to list the different styles. We have abstract art. I cannot explain every art form here. You can maybe go and Google it. Abstract art, Baroque, body art, contemporary art, modern art, realism. There are many art forms, so you must just be able to list them, not to explain them, just to list them, and that one you will find on page 43. But 3 of the art forms are explained in more detail, and that is the 3 art styles that I advise you to go and read them properly. It is the Baroque style, which was found in the 1600s. Baroque style is a style where you have much detail in the paintings, in the music, and in the architecture. And then you have Cubism, which is another style, 1900s. And then you have the Expressionist style. So there are different characteristics for each of these styles. You must say what time, what century, more or less. It is all written there in the explanations on page 43. So here are 2 things that you need to prepare for examination: the different types of art styles, and be able to compare at least 3 of them. Geometric shapes is, which I understand most of us know what it is. We have the geometric shapes. Why and why is the studying of geometric shapes, of what significance, what bearing does it have on visual art? We have the circle, we have the triangle, we have many of them. This is just 2 examples. So you must be able to draw all of those: the circle, triangle, the square, the rectangle, the oval. You will all find them on page 95. You must be able to draw them. You must be able to name them. But very exciting is that you must show me what is the relationship. You must demonstrate what is the relationship of these geometric shapes with picture drawing. It's where you say you have a triangle and you have a square, and if it looks like this, many triangles, this is how I'm drawing a house. So I'm using these geometric shapes to make my drawings. And then I have another circle there, which is the sun. And then I say, this is a circle, this is a triangle, this is maybe a square. So that is the significance of teaching geometric shapes in the lower grades, and we are using these shapes in our drawings. You must be able to draw the shapes, name them, and also make drawings where you have used the shapes and you have indicated in your drawing where did you use them. So I'm looking forward to your drawings. Steps of the art lesson. All the art lessons more or less follow the same formats. Maybe if you are working with older children in the later stages of primary school or early grades of secondary school, you will maybe adapt it or adjust it here and there. But if I speak now in terms of pre-primary, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, the lower grades, normally all our lesson starts with a story. You know, the storytelling is very famous and a very successful and a proven recipe for good lessons, because even in the Bible, Jesus Christ uses stories as a method for teaching. So there are 4 steps in the lower grades. I start with the story. I introduce it with a story, so I'm preparing my children, I'm preparing the class. So the preparation and motivation is found in the story part. In the second stage is where we start to experiment. Now I say, take out your pens. We try to draw the family, and then they start just drawing anything. They are experimenting. And in the third step only is when we make the actual drawings. And then the fourth step is the evaluation, where we say, oh, the teacher is now looking around. This is very beautiful. This is also beautiful, but it needs improvement. And then at the end, put some of them at the wall. Oh, let us clap hands. So that is where you're making evaluation. So on page 109, I don't need to go through everything there. You can read it there. Pattern making, you must know what is a pattern. How will you explain the concept pattern? Pattern is, it is the repeat of something. You can also introduce pattern making with a story. There was one day, there was the hare, and the hare was trying to find food, and the hare was jumping around in the forest, and this is how you can demonstrate it to the children, the smaller children. This is how the hare jumped, and this is how you arrive at a link to what a pattern is. It is a repeat of the same thing, repeat of a geometric shape, repeat of a color, and then you can go into that. And then you can give the different examples of patterns that we have. I've already used the letters of the alphabet. I can use geometrical shapes to make a pattern, or I can use a combination of letters and geometrical shapes. You must be able, I will ask you, you must be able to draw a pattern for me in the examination. Namibian artist, again, not Gaza and the dog, but visual artists. People like Peter Kawowo, John Mefangeo, Kay Cowley. Those are people that are still alive. Kay Cowley is currently a lecturer at UNAM. And we are talking here about visual art, people that are painting and drawing and making sculptures. Those are our Namibian artists. Border pattern, I have already explained to you the types of, I've already explained hand-eye coordination. Self-expression is what you are thinking in your head, what you are seeing in your head, you're putting it on the paper. So if I say draw a flower, then I will have different flowers, because each learner is expressing what he's seeing in his head differently on paper. Self-expression is what you see in your head, how you are putting it on the paper. Why is the significance of arts in adverts? Advertisements is also a component of visual art. We are drawing things in advertisement. We are using pictures to attract attention and to rouse interest, creates desire, and then strategies for selling. So this is how we are connecting arts to selling of projects in advertisement. To attract attention, to arouse interest, I want to buy what I'm seeing in the picture, creates desire and strategies for selling. What types of pictures will you put on your walls in the classroom? Is the theme pictures? If the theme was my body, the theme was my family, the theme was the environment, I put pictures of those on the board. Phonic pictures has to do with spelling, what I'm doing in spelling. Coloring pictures, this is red, this is blue. Pictures with dotted lines is just showing the outlines, the schematic form of certain pictures. Pictures that show positions. This is under, this is on, this is aside. Just pictures to bring those prepositions out. Pictures that show opposites. This is warm, this is cold. And pictures to learn color. This is blue, this is red. This is the type of pictures that I can put in my classroom. So this is the end of the presentation. You have my email address there. I'm wishing you good luck with all your preparations. I will answer and respond to every email that I am receiving. So you can feel free to contact me by email. Good luck with your preparations.